racing. We actually went racing. You believe it? The Junker had an engine.
The Junker has not ran for over a year. We went racing. It's amazing.
So we're getting ready for Junction Race Day. This is the airstrip up in Central Utah. This guy puts it on, found out about it on Facebook. We got everyone talked in. So I think we had 4 trucks plus a customer's truck. We had some prep to get done.
Now, not on the street trucks. The street trucks, I think we did the night of the event. We swapped tires. We put
cans.
We both put catch cans on just to be respectful of everyone else. You know, they're street trucks, so they don't really leak.
I do strangely remember working on both Will and Todd's truck
the whole
extensively
week prior,
the night before for these street trucks. But hey, whatever.
So we had a race, and we had Team Mechanical Mafia, the original 12-valve gurus, Will Terry, Todd Welch versus
Team Common Rail, or Common Fail as we like to call it.
No, the Wire Fire gang.
The Wire Fire gang.
Give them their credit. Their stuff's fast. Make a lot of power, man. We give them a hard time, but they freaking are some legit trucks.
As per the norm, we set a time frame to hit, and
as per the norm,
Myer
I showed up about 30 minutes after that time frame.
But don't also forget, Todd also showed up late too.
Oh, really? I was after him.
Todd was late and Myer was late, so we head out.
Okay, our time frame was kind of unrealistic. It was like, what, 6:30?
I wanted to get there and make passes before it was 150 degrees outside.
Well, I was up till like 3 or 4 in the
right
morning.
there with you.
Yeah, well, I need my beauty sleep.
Okay.
Good morning. You ready to go diesel racing?
No.
Why not?
I look ready.
Anyway, so we head out to Junction. We get there, and it's an airstrip. They have the pits on one side, spectators on the other.
No return road, so
yeah,
the pits
you
kind of
drive
worked
down.
out.
You drive
Everyone
down
went to
there.
the end, and then just race back, park, and then once they're all done, we all go back again.
So we get there, and it's actually pretty nice because it's a Labor Day weekend. So it wasn't a huge turnout because people were camping, people were doing stuff. So we got a lot of runs in.
Yeah, they did like 4 or 5 qualifying practice rounds or whatever. We didn't even get to the first round because we were late.
Yeah.
And so we'd got all of our stuff unloaded, and we're trying to fight with that little parking area for a semi, but you know, we figured it out.
Yeah.
And we got all the trucks running and started up, and air pressure, tires swapped.
And as we're riding in, people are seeing Josh's race truck on his trailer, your race truck on your trailer. Like, are you guys actually racing those things? Like, people are like, what the heck is on your trailer? That's not a race car.
Like, I pulled into the wrong parking lot, and they tried to have me park with the spectators. And I ended up like off-roading through the desert, and they're like, I was like, didn't you know I was racing? They're like, that's not a race truck. That's an old clapped out truck you pulled out of a field somewhere.
So we get there. Luckily for us, Jenny and Todd, I guess probably Will too, they all chipped in and paid our entry fees.
Yeah.
So Myer and I got to race for free, which is pretty awesome. Shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure.
We unloaded, got everything ready. I got the bottles. I got a bottle hooked up to the truck. Myer, we got your slicks on at the track, did we not?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna haul them with that.
So we do first pass. I think I was the first one to go down, and we just
freaking rowdy.
Soft launch.
No, okay, soft launch, but
Yeah.
it hit power about halfway down the track, and it was like all over the place. He had to drive it for sure.
We did the first pass. I don't even remember what it was.
I want to say it was a 6.9.
Yeah, it was. I think it was either that or like really low 7s. So I was like, all right, cool.
People are looking at us like, well, who the heck are you idiots racing diesel trucks? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Which I thought those days were long past, but still, you can still
in rural Utah at an airstrip. You can still impress
people with your fast
a diesel truck.
So like, no, we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna race some 4-wheel drive, and the guys are saying, oh, the track is crap. Ain't nobody going under. Was it 8 seconds? The guy was saying, or if you hit 7 seconds.
Yeah. He said you'd be lucky if you hit 8 flat today.
Yeah.
And Josh is like, well, I was hoping to go 6s, and he's just like, nah, I'm today, buddy.
Because to his credit, it's an airport drag strip. It's an airport runway that's rarely used. So there's gravel on it. I mean, it is.
There's no rubber down.
It's not even a very good road.
There's cracks. Yeah, I mean,
it's bouncy. Like you're.
I mean, even as like a county road, it would be like low quality.
Like it wouldn't be the road you'd pick to race on.
No.
No, but it's straight and there's nobody there, and they say.
And it's not illegal. I mean, that's a big plus.
They had timing lights.
Timing lights, so you can get feedback.
They had a porta tree there, so
That
it
was
was pretty
nice.
official time slips. I ran one pass with a draggy to make sure that their timing equipment was working, and it was in fact working well.
But it was only 8th mile. The way the track was set up, they didn't want to run quarter-mile runs. I think it's long enough too, but they had it set for 8th mile racing, which was fun. I thought it was pretty fun.
So tell us about your first pass real quick.
So, well, right out the gate, Josh goes and he blasts out like a 650 something.
660, 670, somewhere in the mid sixes.
Yeah, right in mid sixes. So right off the bat, Josh has the fastest pass of the day. They announce it over the speakers, and all of a sudden, all these guys in these supercharged Camaros and these old Novas that are really pretty cool race cars are like.
And there's newer Mustangs, newer
Camaros.
Newer, there was that Dodge Challenger
Yeah.
that Josh thought was a Hellcat. I don't think it was, but
So anyway, all of a sudden they announce over that the Josh's diesel is the fastest pass of the day. So I'm all right. So I'm up next and I go, and my first pass, man, it's been a long time. I'm literally trying to figure out what buttons to push. Okay, I gotta get the water turned on, the intercooler's turned on. I gotta get my engine water system turned on. Don't forget to hit the data logger switch. There's a lot of stuff going on. Nitrous boost up, and my first launch was pretty soft.
Right lane, Chevy Vega takes.
Todd didn't have lockup.
Yeah, come to find out, he did a couple passes, and it's a rowdy. You know, like everything's making noise. Like there's a lot going on. I don't blame anyone, but he realized like, wait, I don't have lockup. Like he did a test, and oh, nothing worked.
I think what really did it for Todd though was like my second pass, I went like 6.5, and I had the fastest pass of the day.
Yeah.
And Todd was still doing like 6.7s and 6.8s.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What the heck's going on with this?" And I
Yeah,
was
and then
like, "I
finally
don't
he's like, I watched his rip'ems, and they were just at 5K the whole time. He's like, okay, well let's check that lockup.
It didn't feel right. It felt okay, but not right. So I get back to the pits and I pull the data log and I can see that I'm just right there at 5,000 RPM. I shift right back to 5,000 RPM. So I'm like, dude, my torque converter's not locking up. I'm just hanging at 5,000 RPM.
I was gonna fix it, but then I was called out to do another round, and Mr. Electronic, he burnt his arm
I
on the
burnt my
transmission.
arm on the transpan because after
Yeah.
you do
If
3
you're-
full power runs with no lockup,
Yeah, 1,600 horse and
That
no lockup
pain.
on the trans.
yeah, that pan was toasty. So me being an idiot, I was like, oh, I bet you the plug's not plugged in because that seems to be a common problem. So I pulled the trans blanket off, was not the issue. Looked at the steering wheel and I was like, Todd, one of these wires isn't like hooked up.
My lockup was not working. It was as simple as the switch. There are 2 wires in the switch. One had come off. The bolt had vibrated and had come off, and it's behind the steering wheel. I'm looking at everything because like the night before it worked great. We get to the track, it's not working. So Josh, being the good man that he is the one who found that, and he put me back together. My next pass, much better.
So my first run in the junker, I went up there, I bolted my big slicks on there. I did a burnout, and my truck kind of burned out, and it kind of just, it kind of felt like I was slipping the tranny. Like I was like, I just didn't feel like a good burnout. And I backed up, and Myer taps on the window, and he's like, there wasn't a whole lot of tire spinning going on there, Will. I'm like, oh.
Great.
He's like, there was some, but not like what the engine sounded like. So I, sent it down the track anyway, and I went, and the truck spun immediately at the starting line, which is funny because it didn't spin when I was on the
Yeah.
brakes very well, but it spun, and I grabbed second gear and lockup, and it just didn't feel good, and I was like, oh, I had my truck and detuned big time with AFC Live being conservative because I didn't dyno it.
Right.
And I'm afraid of it throttle hanging, blowing. I mean,
he literally just put it together. Let's go race.
I mean, it didn't even get like a mile on the street. And so I get about half track and I'm like, that's it. And I hit the, the go baby go switch or the full power mode. And then it really started pulling. And anyways, and it felt decent. I ran a high 8 at like 93 or 94 miles an hour or something.
Tell us about your tune. You didn't have this thing tuned like to the moon, right?
No, I was conservative. This is brand new, so it was at 20 degrees of timing.
It's really low for racing. That's like lower than your street truck. Like your daily driver.
My daily driver's at 25 degrees.
Yeah, so we're talking low.
Todd and I lined up the first time, and the way the light was hitting the beams, I don't think Todd says he couldn't see me.
Yeah, I went in that
Yeah.
lane once too,
So-
and the way the light, it was kind of making the lights look semi-lit all the time, and you could barely tell the difference on the other side.
So I was sitting there on
the
single
converter.
bulb, Todd single bulbed, I double bulbed, and Todd didn't move for what seemed like a while, and I was watching my trans get hotter and hotter. So I just let out. Then Todd, like, all of a sudden trans braked in, and I was like, oh wow, he made it in. And I just kind of rolled out on it.
Yeah.
He bumps in, and I'm building boost, and I'm looking over at his tree, and I can't really see his lights. Usually you can see your opponent's lights. This is kind of a weird
on
tree.
these portable trees, and where the light was, you couldn't see.
I couldn't see, and then all of a sudden he's thinking, is he trying to burn me down? And I'm like, is he going in? So I finally bump in, and then we go, and he kind of let off, he said, because he didn't want to burn his transmission. Whatever it was, I mean, I got the easy win because I left quick, he was letting off.
And that footage from in the track, you came by like a missile, and he kind of looked like a dog with its tail between its legs. His truck was kind of just putting along, and
Todd was complaining about how hot it was. I was driving back to the starting line every time with my windows up and the air conditioning going, enjoying the sweet, sweet comforts of third gens.
So we talk, we get it figured out in the pits. We're gonna do a 400 pro tree. He needs a practice. He's like, yeah, I'm totally want to do it. It's gonna be great. So we're sitting there in the staging lanes getting ready for our second pass, and of course we're going back and forth. Josh's like, hey, wait a minute. Let me turn my air conditioner on. And, hey, wait a minute, let me roll my window down. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, let me go win this race.
And then we talked, we switched lanes, we went back, and I ran a 657 at 111, and I think Todd did he keeps saying 623, but the
628.
The slip says like 628, and he did 114. So
Yeah. So definitely, putting down some power.
I definitely lost, that's
Yep.
for sure.
Todd got the win.
So we got another round, and this one was a lot better. I left a little bit harder, which actually translated into a worse 60-foot time because I spun a little bit harder. I'm trying to figure out how to launch this thing. But it was a great, great pass. I launched good. Second, third, lockup's awesome. And but again, by the end of the track, my data logger, I'm just stuck at 5,000 RPM because I didn't shift to fourth gear. I just left it in third because it's such a short track.
And it trapped 114 on that one.
It's 114. And I know it would have gone faster if I wasn't governed out. I'm governing out in every gear. I mean, it hits 5,000, boom, boom, boom. So it's like, I need the RPM. But he was right there.
It's like torque management for the shift is what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Training lives great because it's not making power. But I never saw Josh, but I knew he was right there because when the race is over, well, I never saw him at all because when the race is over, he's pulled off on the side because he had a little mishap himself.
All of a sudden, the truck like lost power, and I like pulled over, and I just heard this like screeching noise coming from the bottom end. Turns out all 6 torque converter bolts had wiggled loose and completely fallen out. So shout out to Phil over at DPC. He got me all hooked up. I got one in the truck and then 2 more spares now. So we are back up at full torque converter capacity.
So I get back there, and Myer's like, Will, I ran your valve body in the test stand. I know it needs TV pressure to make 200. I was like, well, my trans gauge was showing 200 before. And he's just like, I don't care what your gauge is showing. I know what the test stand is accurate, and it's not making that. So we wire tied the TV lever full forward because I did have some trans slip going. So my next pass, I go up, much better burnout, no trans slippage. My next pass, I started in full power mode and went, and I think I ran like an 820 or 815, but I think I hit like 98 mile an hour. So then Myer and I lined up.
Yes.
Now remember, Myer has a bunch of mods where his truck has really good weight balance. It's a short bed, and he's added some ballast in key locations.
Yeah.
We always edit out, but yeah, he added concrete to his rear bumper.
Oh, top secret.
Top secret. Anyway, so his truck, but he doesn't have as good of a tire as me. So we're close, but he's still 60 footing better. But I mean, his wire fire gang just can't compete with the horsepower of the junker drag truck at 20 degrees of timing, mind you. And now it is true, I have way bigger turbos on my truck. But anyways, so I left, and Myer accidentally double bulbed or bumped in too far. He didn't have any boost, and we were on a sportsman tree, so he had, a couple, second and a half to get spooled, but it was hot. And anyway, and so I left on green, normal, and he was still trying to spool up, and I never saw him.
So the junker and I also ran, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little cocky because at that point we had both made passes, and my truck had been faster the whole day. So I was like, I got this, Will. I was like, yeah, let's line up. And he's like, sure. Well, I'm not the best at staging apparently, because I just went straight to dual beam. I just went two beams, and I wasn't fully staged. So I was trying to get on the converter. I don't know if Will purposely dual beamed as well, but like I don't think either one of us were ready.
Little background for those of you guys that don't know the Will Terry. That man will play starting line games with you until you don't even know what you're doing anymore. Like, he'll double bulb, he'll deep stage, he'll single bulb, leave you on a double bulb. Like, the guy just kind of plays head games with you. Anybody that's raced against him in the NHRDA like 4 to 8 years ago like knows exactly what he does. So you got to be on your A game. And Myer is still learning the tree.
Yeah.
But I will say, Will, I felt like played that one very genuine.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. Well, so apparently, coming to find out, he was going to try launching in second to see how that would do. And I can't help but laugh a little bit because I told him like a week prior that if he's going to launch in second, you got to launch a lot harder. Apparently that didn't stick. So he launched like he did in first. And it didn't launch very hard. But credit to him, apparently he pulled it back into first, bogged it, and then slammed it to second and went through the gears. I simply wasn't staged very well, so I went a very soft start. But in the race, the junker won. So I think that's 2 for race trucks and 0 for street trucks.
And I might have even been almost off the return road before he came down the track. It wasn't that bad, but anyway, and yeah, so he went down. So our record's 1-0. Now we've never raced before that.
Nope.
That was his first time racing on an actual tree.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't feel too good. I mean, he's a total
you're
rookie at
you're
racing
a veteran,
on a tree.
He's a rookie. He did really good. And then, so that was your last race, but Myer we wanted to see how fast we get Myer going, right?
So actually after that they went into a bracket and I raced that guy from Las Vegas that runs 6.0s in the El Camino.
Yeah.
Well, he overpowered the starting line and he was dead late. I mean, I don't know what happened. I left him in the dust. After that happened, it became time to street prep the airport. So we pulled out the VHT and the spray bottles,
the weed sprayers,
and we're weed spraying it all, and we're working on Myer, and we finally got him down. What was his best pass? A 760, I think.
7.6 something. We were hoping for a 770.
I think 94, 95 miles, maybe even hit 96. But I mean, that's not bad on that track.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it was good.
I think we did a 7.6 is our best time. 7.66.
6.66 at 96 mile an hour.
We are going up against Satan's caveman. And I just thought it would be a good idea if you... Felicidades.
So I hauled my truck there. There was an open spot in the max, so I was like, hey, sure, I'm down to sleep on the way there. Heck yeah. Did that. And I was like, you know what? I'm driving it home. So we drove it home. That was a I think that's a win.
That is so punk rock.
It was a good time.
It was a lot of fun, and at the end of the day,
Colby's 6.0 blew a turbo on the way home.
thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
And if you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe.
Leave a comment down below, like, who's the better narrators here? Is it Will and Todd, or is it Josh and Myer?
Who you like better, Mechanical Mafia or Wirefire Gang?
All right, guys.
Sorry.
Catch you on the next one. Take care.
All right, guys, thanks a lot, and we will see you next time.
Hey guys, welcome to Power Grid Diesel. I'm your host, Will.
This is I'm eating my small blizzard.
Colby has some of the best posture I've ever seen. Like his shoulders are always really far back. He's got a nice strong back arch.